So let's go back to this image, and now we're going to go on to the house. So let's go back into the Adobe Bridge, and then just over here where the house is. Now, in order to find a lot of these images, you may need to browse by thumbnail. I would recommend using the file browser or the Adobe Bridge because the names of the files are, they have different numbers, and so they're a little bit harder to find. And I need to include the numbers on all these photos so I can keep track of, who the photographer is, where the photo came from, and all those sorts of things. So, okay, so we have it opened up in Photoshop now. Before we drag the house image over to the poster, though, I want you to come back over to the project image here, and I want to make sure that the topmost layer is selected. That's because as soon as we drag the house image over to the poster image, it's going to place it on a layer above the layer that is selected. Watch. I'll just come over here and select the Move tool. I'll click and drag this over, and as soon as I see that little symbol, that little plus symbol, I'm going to go ahead and just release the mouse, and now it's over on this image, and you can see it places it just above the levels, an image adjustment that we just used a minute ago. I'm going to double click on this layer, and we're going to call it House. And let's move the house down, the image here, a little bit. All right, now for the next step, what we're going to do is completely remove the sky behind this house, the sky and the mountain, because this is going to allow us to just remove all that daytime stuff, and we're going to make it nighttime. I'm going to go ahead and zoom into the image here. Now, we don't have to be very, very neat when we're doing this because this is going to be a pretty dark image, and we might not be able to see all our mistakes. And so, I'm going to grab the pen tool here and just make a quick path around this house. And I can do this fairly quickly because we do have a lot of straight edges. It makes it a lot easier. And I'm pressing the space bar on the keyboard to get the hand tool so I can navigate around while I use the pen tool. And there, I'm just going to get to the very edge of this roof here. Might even just do that over again. Down the house right about here. And we're also going to go straight across this land, this field. I'll click at this side of the image. Then I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit. I can just come outside right here and click around and then reconnect it right here. You see that? Boom. And that'll make it a complete path. So then all I have to do is just right click in this path, make it a selection right here, and just 0 for radius and put a check mark right in this box for the anti-alias, and then go ahead and click OK. And you will see that become a selection. What we're going to do is create a layer mask. So just over here on the layers palette, click right here on the Add Layer Mask button, and that'll make the background go away. But I'm going to show you a really cool technique that you're just going to love, and you're probably going to use it on all your projects now, I'll bet you. Every time we cut something out or we crop things in Photoshop, sometimes we don't quite get all the way around the edges, or we don't get close enough, and we don't have to get really close. We can always fudge it from now on. You know why? Because I'm going to show you a little trick, and you can use this if you have a layer mask on the same layer, okay? So make sure that layer mask is selected. It should be by default after you've created the new layer mask. And I want you to come up here to Filter, down here to Other, and I want you to select Minimum right here. And this is the fun part. All we're going to do is increase the radius of this minimum filter, and that will get rid of the outline around the house. Now, what's happening here is that the minimum filter is making that mask a lot smaller. And so while it's doing this, though, we get the benefit because instead of going in there with a selection and contracting the selection by 2 pixels, and versus selection, press delete, we don't have to do any of that anymore. Just come into the minimum filter on that mask and set the radius here to either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 pixels, depending on how much outline you have around your cutout, and you can make it go away, just like this. I'll just put 4, and we're going to go ahead and click OK. And let's zoom out of the image here. That's looking great. And you can see this is what it was before, and now this is after. I'm going to just come over here, and we want to get back some of the background here behind the house. So I'm going to come over to Image Adjustments and Brightness and Contrast and see if I can brighten this channel, or I'm sorry, this mask a little bit. Let me go ahead and back up a little bit because I think I moved just a little bit too fast. In order to get that background to come back just a little bit, because you don't want to completely eliminate the background behind this house, we want to bring just a little bit back. Click on the house mask, come over here to Image Adjustments and over here to Brightness and Contrast, and you can brighten a mask. Yes, you can. Believe it or not. But you can come in here and just turn up the brightness, and you'll slowly see that come back. You see that? So we can start to see the background again. That's pretty cool, because we don't want to completely eliminate that, but we just wanted to make it a lot darker than the front of the house will be. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now what we're going to do is take this house from daytime to nighttime. So let's go over here on the Layers palette. I want you to hold down the Control key on the keyboard. That's the Command key on the Mac, and I want you to re-click on this layer mask, and you'll see the house load there. Then I want you to create another adjustment layer. Let's hold down Alt, click on the new adjustment layer icon right here, and I'll select Levels. Put a check in this box right here, click OK. And we're going to do the same thing that we did with the sky with the house. All we have to do is just come down here to the bottom of the Levels control and just click on this white slider and move that to the left. And now basically you're just making the sun go down. Now you can go all the way down, but that's pretty dark. But we're going to move it to just about right here. That looks pretty good. Let's click OK and check it out.